All right, today is September 29th of 2022, and I've been carrying on doing some work that I wanted to get done prior to putting the bilge stringers on this side here. And over here, you can see I've got water heater mounted in there. I made a little shelf here for the water heater, and the battery holder, the starting battery motor for the engine, is going to be over behind it here. And you can see this box here, which isn't finished yet. It needs more epoxy, sanding, and some paint. But yeah, those fit in there, so that's where I'm putting them. Maybe not ideal, but about as good as I could come up with, and that space needed to be used for something, so I don't know. These are the lines for the water heater, and they say they're supposed to run horizontal or nearly so. I don't exactly know why that is. I mean, if a thing's pumping, it should be able to pump it. It runs off the water pump on the engine, the freshwater pump, so I can't imagine why it couldn't move at that distance. But if something happens and I can't use it there, if it's too low, I could set it up here on the floor, and you have to walk around it to get to the other side of the engine. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But I think that should be right. In the battery box, that's sized for an 8D battery. Now, again, I don't know why the specs for this engine call for such a huge battery. Now, maybe that's simply because they're assuming people are going to use it as house battery too. I don't know. But they call for 1,050 minimum cold cranking amps. And the only thing you can get at 1,050 is, maybe a 4D or a 6D battery. But anyway, I size it. They're a little rare, a little hard to find. The 8D batteries are something you'd find like in a semi, I think. So I sized that box to hold an 8D battery. What type of battery? I don't know. Ideally, I suppose you'd go AGM, but they're awfully expensive, and I don't know if they even last as long or any longer than a flooded. And I don't think a flooded would be an issue in here. I could put a cover on the top of the box and run a vent out. But quite frankly, knowing lead acid batteries as well as I do, I don't think it would ever be an issue. In the engine room here, you've got enough cubic feet of area that and the only time a battery produces hydrogen is when it's charging, when it's boiling. Otherwise it's not producing hydrogen. So if it's going to be producing hydrogen, it's going to be above 14.4 volts. That means the engine is going to be running, and if the engine's running, the circulation fan is going to be running in here. So yeah, that little bit of hydrogen one battery would put out is never going to be an issue in a compartment in an area this big. Now, if that box was sealed, yeah, then you had a spark in that box, it'd be a different story. But that's not going to be the case. So anyway, that's where we stand as of today on that. I have also my Racor 1000 filter is supposed to be in today, as is the hose, the 1/2-inch hose. So I might be able to do some plumbing back here on the fuel tanks, getting those the fuel tanks to the Racor. But we'll see how that goes later today.